Here we are, Bassmaster fans, the 53rd running of the Academy Sports and Outdoors Bassmaster Classic, presented by Toyota here in Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm your host tonight, Ronnie Moore, and we're at the Night of Champions banquet dinner. Every single Classic qualifier this year, defending champs AOY, they're all going to be honored here tonight. We're even going to recognize some of our other tournament series. Team champions, college bracket winners, the Angler of the Year for the College Series, even more with the nation. So much in store tonight. But first, our anglers and families are walking into the Night of Champions. So we're going to do a couple interviews to see how they're feeling about the actual tournament coming up in just a little bit of time. Our first guest, why don't we just start out with a Tennessean, as we are in Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm not going to say the G-O-V-O-L-S. I'm not saying any of that, but you can. Brandon Lester and his wife, Kim Lester, how are y'all doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing good. We're good.
Bassmaster Classics here in your home state. Last time we were at this venue in 2019, a sixth-place finish, a great showing for you. After the momentum of last year, 2 wins, second Angler of the Year. Are you ready to make this Classic yours, Brandon?
I'd love to. I'll tell you that much. The weather in practice has been just mind-blowing. It really has. I mean, you'll hear that a lot tonight. I really feel like you will. I really thought we were going to get a warmer, maybe a little bit of rain today, but no, it was cold and rainy again. So, it's supposed to get up to almost 80 tomorrow. We're not going to be on the water tomorrow. It's media day, obviously. So by the time we get on the water, everything's going to have changed. So, I mean, that's the way it is when you're fishing in the pre-spawn. So it's all good. It's going to be a good event, though. The event, the actual tournament, I think the fishing's going to be twice as good as it was in practice.
Well, that bodes well because it was quite frigid. We were like, let's move it to late March, maybe more stable. No, the water's lower than it's ever been here since we've been here a couple times, and it's obviously been cold. Kim, I'm going to talk about fishing, sort of, but more so the support. Brandon's mentioned it plenty of times in interviews how much his family support, people, you guys always push him to do his best. Last year was such a phenomenal year for him. Talk about the pride of a wife that just supports her husband in the high times and the low times.
Yeah, I mean, when you marry into this life, it becomes your dream just as much as it is his. Our girls know on tournament days we go to bed early, we have dinner ready, we try to take as much off of him as we can so he can just concentrate on what he does best, which is fishing. I'm glad I'm not the one out there doing it. I would rather be the one doing everything else. It's a lot of pressure, I'm sure, so we just try to have fun when he's home. We try to just cut all that, extra off of him to where when he's home he has a safe place to just recoup and get ready for the next day.
Brandon, one of the hottest anglers in the sport. I know you're excited, possibly taking home a Classic this week. For the fans that are going to tune in on day one, what are they going to see you doing out on the water? You'll be on camera, one of our 10 cameras. What should they expect you to do? Smallmouth, largemouth, maybe a little both?
The way I'm fishing is going to be predominantly largemouth, but you might see a smallmouth sneak in there every now and then. I'm going to stay on loud, and I'm not one of the guys that's going to go on to Teleco. And I know that's kind of the X factor here. It really is. But I'm going to stay on loud, and I'm going to do what I like to do on the Tennessee River this time of the year. It's the Bassmaster Classic, so you got to feel comfortable, and that's what I'm going to do.
Well, one of the highest percentage fantasy fishing players selected this week. Maybe Brandon Lester will hold that true and show out for everyone who picked him. Thank you guys for joining us. Enjoy the night. Enjoy the night, and congratulations on being here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Brandon and Kim Lester. We got a couple other anglers in line over here we're going to get to talk to in just a moment, but Brandon Lester, one of the hottest anglers in the sport. We talked about it. 2 wins last year, the Opens and an Elite Series event, second in the Angler of the Year. A little bit of a tougher start this year, but we know he should be turning his season around this week. We got another guy who's, I guess, not too far from Knoxville, over in North Carolina. It's about 3 hours or so, yeah. Matt, Arie, how are you guys doing tonight? Obviously, it's always a good time to be at the Bassmaster Classic, and you always have a shot to win if you're one of the 55 people in this room.
100%. I always say, and I've been doing this 15 years now, and you never take this opportunity for granted. I mean, it's still surreal when I show up at the Bassmaster Classic because it is the biggest stage in our sport. It is just one of the most tiring weeks of your life, but at the same time, one of the most exciting. And like you said, man, somebody's got to take that trophy home Sunday, and Lord willing, maybe it's us.
I don't want to bring up possible bad memories, but they're also really good memories. Not everybody has the chance to compete on Championship Sunday for a Classic. In 2021, you got second place, just a fish or two away from winning that one. Is this going to be one of those events? It seemed like you were way off the radar on day one at Ray Roberts, and every day got better, and right there on the final day, you had a shot to win. I feel like this event, Friday, someone below the cut line could be in the mix in the top 10 on the final day this week.
100%, because here, this place reminds me of Lake Norman where I grew up fishing. You've actually got some experience on Norman. And to me, a big fish can separate you so much here, but you catch 2 or 3 of those, and you can really make up a lot of ground fast. Because I do feel like the first day, the top 10 or 15 weight is going to be super, super tight. Maybe somebody busts a 20-something pound bag, but then it's going to drop off really fast. So, and there again, a guy that sustains that, that mid-teens average every day could be right there at the end. He could sneak up on people.
It's a busy week. It's a different schedule than the Elite Series events for you guys. The Classic, that's what you have to wrap your head around. For you, as the rock of the family, you got to keep everybody else in line. What's that like for a wife trying to support her husband as he's got an up and down schedule, and you're trying to wrangle the rest of the family and get them in their seats by the time weigh-in starts?
Well, it requires a lot of help, and we are fortunate that we do have family that helps us out. And but it's a challenge getting everybody where they need to be. But I'm just thankful to be able to be here and be beside them and support them and cheer for them. And it's a great time, biggest stage in bass fishing. It's just a wonderful event.
Matt, you had a great send-off just a couple days ago before you came here. Your girls are like some of the best artists I've ever seen. I don't know if they get a little bit of help or not, but kudos to them for the support. What's that mean when you guys leave the house? It's hard to leave family, but man, when you leave them and then they support you like they do unconditionally, that's got to just drive you to just do your best when you're out of gas out on the water and you don't want to be here in the rain. You just keep pushing.
Yeah, for 15 years of my career, I've never left that driveway. This is even before the girls were born, that she wouldn't make a note or a chalk drawing, even before the girls were born, on the driveway wishing me good luck. And the girls, ever since they were born, they have made a sign every year that I actually have probably seen some pictures on social media underneath the front deck lid of my Ranger boat. So especially during a bad day on the water, I can open up that lid where I'm retying or grabbing something else for tackle purposes, and I see that picture, and it's my girls, it's my wife, and it's the really important things in life, right? And it's a reminder, like, things could always be worse. Thankful to be where I'm at, and man, never take a day for granted.
Awesome. Well, the Aries, you guys are in it to win it this week. 1 of 55. If you're not here, you don't have a shot to win. So congratulations on being here. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Who we got next, Zach? We got Buddy and Leanne Gross. How are y'all tonight? Another Tennessee angler. Buddy, fishing a Bassmaster Classic in your home state, it's got to feel good to be just up the road. Obviously, you probably don't fish Fort Loud and Tellico as much, but man, it's got to be comfortable, just being around familiar types of water.
Well, it's Tennessee River. It just ain't fishing like a Tennessee River we always know. It's still got potential. They live here. They've been hiding from me all week. That's all I can tell you.
Largemouth, smallmouth, that's been the big debate this week. What is it, 14 inches for largemouth, 18 for smallmouth? If you catch 5 smallmouth, you're going to be in a good spot because those are big ones. Have you tried to do one or the other, or maybe mixing both up together?
Well, I started out just trying to find some largemouth just to make my bag get started. But, I've spent 3 days trying to make that happen. So I haven't caught any smallmouth since I've been here. I think they'll come when we start bearing down and fishing. But I've been trying to fish off the river, and I think you're going to have to be on the river for the smallmouth. But largemouth just haven't pulled up. I think we need a little more water in the pond, but it's going to be a good derby. Somebody's going to find them, and it's going to show out. Everybody's poor-mouthing, but it's still Tennessee River.
We did get a little bit of that water in the pond today. Not a bunch, but maybe the lakes up above will release some water and it'll fill up. But how hard is it to practice 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of last week, and Wednesday today, in 40-degree and worse weather, rain, and the tournament's going to be 80 degrees every day and sunny? How hard is it to practice knowing that it's going to be totally different and hoping you're picking where the fish are going rather than where they currently are?
I've been trying to fish ahead of them all week, and I believe I am fishing ahead of them. I just hope they show up. I think I'm fishing too far ahead of them. I really do. If the water come up, though, they'd be there. They just, all the structure that we need them to be on is out of the water. It's scary at the same one time, but I'm really looking forward to it because if they show up, it can make my day. But if they don't, it's going to be one of them deals where what happened. But it's a classic. You already got the money made because you got here. It's a privilege just to be here. So now I'm swinging my goal is the top 25, and then after that I'm really swinging. So if I see that happen, it's going to be a good week.
What's more nerve-wracking as a mom and a wife, watching Buddy fish and watching bass track, or watching Bella barrel race?
Watching Bass track for sure.
Well, the Grosses, I appreciate y'all being here. Congratulations on making it. One of the Tennessee anglers that's got a shot to win the 53rd Bassmaster Classic here in Knoxville, Tennessee. What a great place. If you're just tuning in to Facebook Live, it's the Night of Champions. It's the banquet where we honor all the competitors who have qualified to make the Classic. We're going to honor some of the lower-level anglers as well that have achieved the highest point in their division, which is being a champion of 2022. So we're doing all of that. We're interviewing the anglers and their significant others tonight as well. Another angler, we're just pouring in all the Tennessee anglers right now. Pouring in all the Tennessee anglers. I'm going to call you a Tennessee angler, even though your home is about 20-something hours and a couple 5-6 plane flights away. Carl Jacobson, your first Bassmaster Classic. Congratulations.
Thanks, mate. It's it's amazing to be here. I've watched the guys' Night of Champions for about 10 years since I've been here, going one night. And to be honest, I've always wanted it from the day I met Kayla in 2015. She supported me. I'm like, that night's going to be Kayla's night. I want to see her get dressed up and be able to see like that bass fishing can be what it is right here, and it's pretty cool.
Can you talk about, we've talked about it in interviews and whatnot, the progression of an angler. Everyone thinks when you're on the Elite Series, you're good enough to be here, it should just click. You should just make top 10s. But how even if you're one of the best in the world, getting that consistent drive every single event is very difficult. And you put it together great last year. You've put it together awesome already this year. Talk about that progression and just learning something brand new for you coming to the States.
Yeah, it's when you make it to the Elite Series, you've only just started. You've only just begun. And it's bass fishing. You never get to the pinnacle and that's it. You're the best. You're constantly learning all the time. All the top guys are constantly learning, getting better. And that's kind of why we're here tonight. Is like I've never settled. I've always wanted to improve, get better in every aspect of the game. But I didn't want to get here and just to get here. I want to get here and be competitive. I want to compete. I want to be at the top level, and I want to make history. And we're getting there. We're chipping away at it.
Kayla, you've been a part of multiple fishing families now. You were in a fishing family and then married into another fishing family and started your own family now. This is the Bassmaster Classic. I mean, we see it. We talk about it. It's a big week for y'all as well. You put a lot into these, into your husbands and your spouses. And now it's kind of paying off. You get to see them touted around and showcased all week, and now you guys get to kind of enjoy it tonight.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. Like you said, he's always made this night also a thing for me, which is really exciting. And his dreams have always become my dreams along the way. We've been together for about 8 years now. So it's just amazing to be able to be here and support him and just see how far he's come over these last 8 years. And I know it's not going to stop. We'll be back next year and the next and just keep going.
Carl, how fitting is it that your first Classic is in the state that you now call home? What made you guys put down roots in the state of Tennessee, just, I guess, 90 minutes away on one of the best lakes in the country, and now you get to walk across the stage in front of one of the biggest crowds, maybe the record breaker, where they're going to try to retake it this week. It's kind of all surreal how it's coming in, and you're going to have a huge gathering from Australia coming over to visit and be here to see it.
Yeah, it's sometimes stuff's just meant to be. It's sort of, I've been disappointed in the past. Like, I really wanted to make the 50th Bassmaster Classic. I'm like, that's going to be the one I make. And then, and certain lakes, I was like, that's going to be the one. And you just never know. And I've missed it. And then everything lines up. You just keep going. And, we just fell in love with Tennessee. Kayla loves the mountains. She loves the outdoors. And we came and we set our camper up on Chickamauga. And we just sort of fell in love with the place, realised how many lakes are around here and also how many good fishermen come from here. You can grass fish, you can rock fish, you can fish the spillways, and I knew that was going to help me become the more versatile angler. And then I caught a 10-10 on a glide bait on Chickamauga, and I said, where's the nearest real estate?
We're moving right now.
Yeah, and it was super cool because Kayla started looking and she went up and found this shop on this place 15 minutes from Chickamauga, and I was like, it was meant to be. And then we actually couldn't buy it, and we tried for a year, and then the day that week I won. The week before I won.
Deposit back.
I got the deposit back off the place and said we couldn't buy it, and then I won 10 Keller, and we rang them Monday morning and said we're buying it.
Yeah.
And
with no payments, no more. We're just buying it.
Yeah, we can just buy it now, and we've loved it ever since, and it's just helped us travel with the schedule, less driving. Tennessee's just like the ultimate place, and then Knoxville's just going to show out. My family, my friends, the fans from Australia are going to get to enjoy Tennessee. The people are incredible. So this is just, I'm soaking in every single second right now.
That's incredible. The Jacobsons, congratulations on your first Classic. It's not your last Classic. We know that for sure. Great start to this year. It's great seeing y'all. Enjoy the night. It's all about her. Whatever she wants. 2 steaks, whatever she wants. Classic trophy, whatever she wants. Carl Jacobson, such a cool story. I think it's kind of fitting. We talked about it as well with all the travel restrictions in the world the last few years. His family and his friends from Australia maybe wouldn't have been able to be here, but now it all comes to fruition. 2023 in Knoxville, and his whole family is able to show up and be here. I think almost 100 Australians are going to show up. Oh, man. Didn't you get enough of me today? We just spent 8 hours wet and cold today. Gerald and Leanne Swindle, how are you guys doing tonight?
Look at the boots. Look at the boots, guys. Look at Ronnie's.
Check it out.
He has spiffed up.
Why couldn't I wear boots?
He went from Studio Man to Cowboy Ronnie, a little Yellowstone right here.
I'm pruny everywhere from the rain today. Your boy Gerald Swindle hooked me up. I forgot my rain jacket. He said, I got you, and I would have died without it. So, G-Man, we just talked to Carl Jacobson, somebody you're mentoring, somebody you're taking under your wing, somebody that has really grown a lot since came to the States and learned fishing. And you're one of the seasoned vets. You're the most seasoned vet here, 20th Classic. Do you still get the chill bumps like it's your first Classic?
Absolutely. I think I do and she does. You said yesterday your anxiety was higher than ever.
Seriously, yeah, it has been. I'm looking forward to the national anthem, I think, on Friday mornings, because if you don't look at me, because I'll be crying, there's just something about that national anthem on the first day of the Classic. I can't describe it.
So I think that's the cool part about the Classic. Everybody sees the trophy, the Jason Christie, the graffiti, but they don't see all the guys that under the mast before blast off, when the national anthem's being played, we got all the camera guys in the boat. That feeling of overwhelming, like, we've made it. We made it here one more time. That's the greatest feeling in the world. And even on a rainy, cold day like today, it's still the Bassmasters Classic and it's practice, so it's a lot of fun.
I felt the tension kind of idling out. You get your name called out in the mock takeoff today, and you got to idle for just a little bit before getting on pad, and then your single file line down the river. What goes through Gerald Swindle's mind as he makes a 20, 30, 40-minute run to his first spot? Is it excitement? Is it gratitude? Is it preparation? Because sometimes I know I get hyped up. I'm trying to run in place in the boat. What is it for you?
I think to me, I do a lot of time when I'm running, honestly trying to bring it back, trying to wind it back in and realize, hey, it's a practice day. You need to do your job. Do not let the adrenaline and the excitement get the best of you. Go out and do what you do best, fish, make great assessments, and don't get too excited. And I think once you do that in the run, it comes back. Because I think, you see, once I put the trolling motor down and make that first cast, I'm right back where I need to be. And I think that's maybe after 20 Classics, I'm learning that. Because I told her yesterday, she said, my nerves are a wreck. And I'm like, mine's not. And I'm like, I guess I finally just figured it out, you know. There was a time when Wes Miller was with me, like when he was a cameraman like 16, 17 years ago. He used to make me really nervous because he was so good and I was so bad. But since they took him out of the boat, I don't get nervous anymore.
What were you saying today? I hope all the cameramen and Wes enjoy their time this week.
I do. I hope all, and I was so appreciative because we have so many great cameramen, and we have Wes, and he pushes himself running that drone and standing up under the bridge, and I admire his execution of where he's at.
Leanne, last thing. It seems like a lot of the families have maybe considered you, and the fans, you're the first lady of Bass. You know, you're G-Man's wife, and you've been there through it all. I was looking back at the 04 Angler of the Year presentation when y'all won at the last weigh-in, and I mean, I'm like, you guys have been around for a long time. 20 Classics. Do you ever just sit back and think, man, what a ride it's been, and I'm so glad we're where we're at?
I do, but it's blown by. Like, we're married 19 years this year in a couple of months, and it's just blown by. I tell him, I joke and tell him that we're the Denny and Shirley now. We're the, you know, when I first come out, I mean, I was in my 30s, and Denny and Shirley were out here, and the bidders, and they kind of took me under their wing, and I look around, and I'm like, that's us now.
That's us now.
You know, we're trying to do that, the exact same thing, but...
We put the rings on tonight. I put them both on, and I never wear them, both AOYs. And I looked across the kitchen table at her, and I'm like, there was a lot of tears in both of these years, good and bad. And she's been there. She's been there when things wasn't going my way. She suffered through those years when the anxiety was higher than ever been, and I come in under the pressure. But she was always my rock. She was the one person that when I came in, she was like, I know you got this. So I think if there's any young anglers out there, if you're ever looking for advice and you want to take it to the next level, your partner in life, the person you choose to marry, has to support you, whether you're washing windows or you're a camera guy or you're a bass fisherman. That person has to be ride or die either way.
That's awesome. The Swindles, I appreciate you keeping me safe today, man. I was worried. I hadn't been in a boat in a long time. It's good to see you guys. Enjoy tonight.
Good to see you too, Wes. You knew I was going to get you back. Hey, guys. And I was wanting to text you back so much.
Gerald, Swindle, ladies and gentlemen, cracking up with Wes Miller behind the camera. Thank you to all the JM and Bassmaster staff that makes everything behind the scenes happen. We got our next angler and spouse coming in, Scott and Dixie Canterbury. Scott, it's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. Yeah, good to be back. Our 2019 Bassmaster Angler of the Year winner. When are you going to make it Bassmaster Classic champion? Is it this week?
I sure wish it would be. You know, I'm hoping for that. But, you know, it's been a tough practice, so I don't know. I'm going to go out and fish hard and looking forward to it.
I was out there today. I know there's some sandbagging. I know there's actually some real tough fishing going on. But do you feel a little, no matter how many bass you've caught or seen or shook off this week, are you feeling a little more confident each day when you look at that weather and it's going to be 75, 80 degrees the next 3-4 days, and it's kind of feeling like spring real quick?
Most definitely. You know, there's a lot of people are already figuring what's going to take to win and how they're going to catch them, you know. And, I mean, they're thinking that smallmouth are really going to play because it's been doing a big deal here in most of the tournaments. But I'm going to fish the way I like to fish this week. It's the Bassmaster Classic, nothing on the line. I'm going to go fish shallow. I'm going to fish the way I like to fish, and hopefully they're coming to me. I had a good tournament here last time. I'm looking forward to getting out there.
Tell the fans at home a little bit about the water conditions this week. Water level, water clarity, water temperature. Because people probably think, man, it's been trees are blooming. It's probably 70 degrees. It's not the case on this river.
Yeah, it was 20 the last day of practice. 22 when we put in the last day of practice. But the water temp's in the low 50s. I expect it to be mid 50s and maybe getting up in the upper 50s by the end of the first day of the tournament. And the water's a little bit lower. I was here 2 years ago, and it's about a foot lower than it was then. Fish have not, like, made that big move. I caught those fish in the very backs of places and stuff, and they have not made that move yet. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully I'm there when they get there. I'm going to be ahead of them, waiting on them to come to me.
They're lined up waiting for them to just raise the water, and they can start running.
I'm worried that the water level has more to do with it than the water temperature. You know, the temperature's going to get there for sure. I think this week what I want it to be, what it needs to be. But the water level's probably not going to come up, so I don't know if they're going to make that move or I'm going to have to ease out to them.
Dixie, we've talked about it with a lot of the spouses. Supporting your angler through the good times and bad. There's no probably better time in the sport than winning the season-long Angler of the Year race. And then when your husband maybe doesn't have his best year and misses the Classic, how is that pep talk in the off-season to get him in the right direction the next year? I had to say it.
So, you know, we're big Alabama fans, and we have a rule, and we follow the Nick Saban rule. It's 24 hours, you're done. Like, we can talk about it for win or lose, 24 hours, and we're done. We're not talking about it anymore. It's time to move on.
We made it a little more than 24 hours.
Like, I did give him a little leeway when he won at AOI. We talked about it a few days.
Yeah, like 3, and then for the week it's like 7.
But, I mean, you have to move on because there's a next tournament, so just got to, like, you can't dwell on it.
Can't dwell on it at all. I'm not going to mention all the Alabama headlines we've been seeing lately. I'm just going to let you get out of Rocky Top all okay? Hey, yeah, you might say a roll tide if you hoist that trophy this weekend.
We'll let them all hear it if I hoist that trophy up.
We will indeed. The Canterburys appreciate you. Congrats on being here. Night of Champions, you got them from all over. There's a lot of Alabama anglers ready to say War Eagle or Roll Tide this week in Thompson Bowling Arena because the volunteer faithful have gotten the best of them the last couple sports in a couple months. We got some more anglers doing some coaxing, making sure we're all good. We've got the famous podcasters in their Roman RV. I need one of those. I need an RV.
So Trey dressed me tonight, in case you're wondering over here. Hey, Wes, how you doing? So Trey bought me a Conor McGregor shirt. So I've been walking around like this the whole time. Look, I've just been walking around like this. Just doing. What did she say?
It fits your ego.
Oh, no.
See, did you notice that? She said it loud, and when I put the mic near her, she got quiet.
Exactly. Ronnie, calling her out, Ronnie. I love it.
I had to.
Hopefully I'm doing the Conor McGregor walk on stage come Sunday. But
that's what I was going to say. Was day 2 4 years ago, you were allowed to do whatever walk you wanted. 21-12, biggest bag of the Classic in 2019. Are you seeing any kind of remnants of that deal, of your deal, that maybe it can happen, lightning can strike again this week?
Ronnie, heck of a vibe in 2019. It was just a vibe. It was just a crazy vibe, and we all felt it. I would say, so like everyone's asking, right? So, okay, so there was the 2019 Classic here on Fort Loudon Tellico. Then there was a 2021 Elite Series event on Fort Loudon Tellico. I would say 2023 lies somewhere in between as far as like the bites go, as far as the fishing goes. The water level's a little bit low. We're talking about fishing right now when my wife is dressed up like to the nines, right? Okay.
That's next.
Yeah, so just real quick, it's somewhere in between. Are they biting a swim bait? Yes. Can I weigh a limit on a swim bait? I do not know. I don't know. I will weigh at least 3 of them on it. All quality, of course, but we're on the TVA system, and it's all dependent on that current. It's all dependent on that water clarity. And when that happens, when that 21.5 pounds happens, it's happening, and you got to roll with it.
Trey, I am going to ask you a question. He's all fun and fishing, and you're all business. This week's kind of a mixture of both. There's a lot of business happening, a lot of opportunities, and then a lot of fishing. How do you keep this man in line when he's trying to just tie up 12 swim baits, and you're like, hey, we need 5, and then you can throw all those?
I've learned, it's not even a conversation. You just got to let him do it and learn. He does better when he, fails at things instead of me nagging him. So I just let him do what he wants.
Well, that's a smart idea, because when you go experiment, we have magic happen. And I was honest with you. You were on the pre-show this morning. Yeah. 2019 was great. 2021, you were around the winning fish, but you got to see it. So are there going to be the potential for 3 days of all smallmouth weighed in? Or are there just so many people doing it that almost going to, they're going to kind of cannibalize each other?
Oh, she's walking away. She's probably going to the bar over there, and I'm going to answer some fishing questions. Okay, to weigh 15 smallmouth, 18 inches, over 3 days with a warming trend after cold 20, 30-degree temperatures. Boy, it's tough. It's going to be tough. I talked to Gussie, the man himself. I ran into him in his canal, and there were 3 locals and then 5 other dudes. I took an Instagram video of 8, I counted 8 boats, and this was on the 3rd day of practice.
It was like 12 degrees.
Yes. And there were 8 boats in his canal trying to figure out his thing. But back in 21, he had all that to himself. And the thing that's special about that kind of area of the lake is it's all current driven. There's giant boulders there because they dredged it out. It's unique. There are no other places like that on these rivers or on these 2 lakes. So for that to happen again, boy, that's to get struck by lightning twice, and that's going to be tough. So I'm predicting a mixed bag, a really mixed bag. I would say 80% largemouth, 20% smallmouth to win this derby.
What's the winning weight for 3 days total?
Oh, you and I agree on that. 17 a day, maybe just a little bit over 17 a day.
51, 52 pounds might get it done. Maybe it's this man.
Absolutely.
Maybe lightning's going to strike twice. Welcome in. Like we said, if you're just joining us, we're in the Night of Champions. This is the banquet where we honor all of the folks who have qualified to be here at the Classic. Why don't I just go ahead and why don't you come in here for a second while we wait for some anglers and some families? I know somebody who can talk and talk.
Never been shy of a microphone.
We were talking about people we're going to acknowledge that maybe aren't fishing in the Classic, but they have won a big title. And this is Drew Gregory, our Kayak Angler of the Year from 2022. Drew, you just competed today. You guys are doing your own Kayak Classic this week. How'd it go, and how's it going to go the rest? Are you going to win that too?
I mean, I hope. I'm in the running, dude. I'm in 6th place after day 1, 89 inches. So for you guys, you don't know inches, it's probably like 17 pounds, somewhere there, 17, 18, I don't know.
Down on Chickamauga.
6th place, down on Chickamauga. I had to get cleaned up real quick, get on the sport coat, drive an hour and a half from the Airbnb. You know, I'm going to obviously milk this for what it's worth because possibly once in a lifetime opportunity. So going to be a late night. Going to have to run all the way back down to Chick and get rigged up tonight late. Not going to get much sleep, but I'm going to give it my all. I'm sharing a spot with Russ Snyder's, who's in third place. And I'm not sure that's going to hold up, man. But he's a good stick, too, and it's not a huge area. So, but, hey, I'm going to give it all that I have, and we'll see. Maybe I can win this championship and be here next year because the champion gets an invite as well. So that's the goal.
That'd be incredible. Two of the best kayak anglers sharing a spot. That's a little dangerous, so we'll see how that goes. But congratulations on what you do for kayak fishing. Bassmaster's proud to have jumped into that and have our tournament series in like year 3 or year 2 of that. Congratulations, Drew, and we'll see how it goes. You don't need sleep. It's Classic Week. We run off Mountain Dew and energy, you know.
That's right. I'll sleep when I'm dead. So.
Drew Gregory, our Kayak Angler of the Year from 2022. I just wanted to say hey to you while we waited for another couple, you know. I'm not sure if we got a couple coming. We might. I see a guy with slick back hair. I see it. Where's yours? I got a slick back hair. Scott Martin.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good.
Bassmaster Classic, man.
You know, it's amazing. You know, last year was such a whirlwind for me. First Classic, you know, and taking it all in. This year I'm able to enjoy it a little bit more. Enjoy the great weather, all the great festivities.
It's a little different. This body of water's, it doesn't look anything like Florida, where you live, but we've been here before. What do we expect this week from Scott Martin?
You know, look, it's a classic. You've got to go out and you've got to fish. You've got to fish your strength. You've got to fish. You got to have everything going your way. You got to fish your strength. You got to fish confident. And for me, you know, I've been here a bunch over the years. Fished a lot in the summertime, a few times in the winter, in the early spring. And so, you know, for me, I've got to try to mix it up a little bit. Try to catch a couple big smallmouth. My game plan is pretty simple. If I get a couple smallmouth, it'd be nice to get 3 or 4 or 5, but 2 would be a good deal. And then finish out the day, you know, with some good largemouth. I think that's a pretty good recipe for a victory.
It sounds like it. Suzanne, thank you for joining us over here. I saw you standing there. I was like, I can't let you.
I had to eat the meatballs.
You guys got to experience something really special. An Elite Series event in your backyard at Okeechobee to start the year, having everybody show up to the weigh-ins. How cool was it to see kind of the whole community come behind a couple anglers who were from Okeechobee, and especially the way he came out of the gates? I mean, we thought it was going to be Scott Martin's event that week.
I did too, and it was amazing. And the greatest thing about being on our home lake is just having all of our kids and all their friends and everybody who watches. You know, there's a lot of sacrifices that go on behind, you know, his career, and so when everybody rallies around and gets to come out and cheer for him, it's really, really cool. So we loved it. We absolutely loved it. And we love being here. We're super excited to be here in Knoxville. We've never been in Knoxville, so it was awesome.
This is going to be one that could, I mean, if it goes the way college football did with Tennessee beating Clemson in the bowl game, Knoxville's trying to beat Greenville and Anderson for breaking the record that they once held.
It's going to happen for a couple of reasons. Number one is because Bassmaster's awesome. Number two, Knoxville's awesome. But most importantly, the weather's going to be like 80 degrees, right? If people are going to come out of their houses after like a week and a half of like this crazy weather and go, we got to go to the Bassmaster Classic. So it's going to break records for sure.
Tell me about the Bassmaster Classic and that draw. You made a big decision in your career just a few years ago to come to Bass and trust in us for the rest of your career. The Classic was a huge reason of that. Your dad's a huge reason of that. Tell me a little bit about 3 years into this whole deal, where Scott Martin feels at his point in his career.
Oh, I'm super excited about my decision. You know, it's all about following your dreams. I mean, if you can't follow your dreams, you can't follow what your passions are, you're not going to be successful in anything you do. And so, you know, my dad fished for so many years. I don't know how many classics he fished, 27, 28, maybe 30. He finished second a few times, but he never got that trophy. And so I've just made it my mission to try to pull off something special. I you know, can't say that lightly because everybody's here with the same passion. They all have their own way of, you know, fighting for a victory on this thing. But if I can pull something off for Pops while he's still alive, it'd be awesome. And not only for them, but for my family as well. So it'd be a big deal. You know, it's I want to get a blue trophy too, and I want to at least win one Angler of the Year. I don't need to try to beat Pops with 9 because that's impossible, and I don't need 19 victories. So one blue trophy, one Bassmaster Classic, one AOI, and I'm good.
And he's coming home.
And all the goals, you're shooting high, and I appreciate that. You've won a lot. in the sport of fishing over the years. So many millions of dollars, so many trophies. How hard is it to win the Classic? I know this is your second one, but there are anglers who win plenty of elite events. 4 days, harder situations than we're dealing with this week, and the Classic 3 days has eluded them. It's kind of like a Bassmaster Open, the way you have to prepare for it, but the practice being a week ahead of time, there's so much that goes into it. Do you feel like your style of preparation, fishing heavyweight, you got to catch them in 3 days, no 4 days, does this fit somewhere in your style?
You know, I'm not sure if I know exactly what my style is. I've kind of, years ago, people would ask me what my favorite technique was, kind of what do you like to do, and I'm kind of like, you know what, I like it all. And I really want to just be versatile, and I might not be the best at any one thing, but I've gotten pretty darn good at a lot of them, and so, you know, you do have to come out swinging, though. You have to have a big day at some point in these 3 days, and if you look back at history, the person that wins 9 times out of 10 has had a real big day somewhere along those 3 days. And so I hope it's day 1 for me, but if not, I hope it's day 3 for me. As long as it's one of those 3 days.
This place is crazy, up and down. Who knows what it'll take to win, but you're one of the 55 in it, so you have a shot. Congratulations on being here.
Thank you.
Congratulations, yeah. Enjoy the night. Bassmaster Classic Night of Champions, the 53rd running of the Bassmaster Classic. I'm looking around for some more people to maybe drag in for an interview real quick before we sign off for y'all. I want to bring the fans into the experience as long as we can before we shut the cameras off and shut the doors. We've got. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Tommy Sanders, you thought you were done with Night of Champions and the red carpet.
No. I'm just I'm planning my second go at the Night of Champions. Yeah.
53rd Classic. Overall, how many classics for you?
This is a 23rd for me.
23rd Classic?
Yeah. Did 2001, started in 2001, Louisiana Delta.
How have you seen this change over the years? Classic's always been big. Ray Scott always made it big. Everyone after him that has owned Bass and worked with the Classic has made it big. Man, it seems like every year we're going to have to build new stadiums because we're just trying to exceed those.
They exceed the record every year. We're expecting Knoxville to show up and beat their own record from 2019. I mean, that's how strong it is. And, it just gets more sophisticated, and the anglers are more sophisticated. The anglers are better. The media is more savvy. Everything just improves the way you draw it up, actually, right?
Yeah, exactly. Tommy, are you we're going to be on live this week? We got some coverage coming up. Where can some of the folks watch us this week to tune in?
Bassmaster.com for Friday, and the digital platforms as well, and Tubi, I think, on Friday as well. Saturday, we're going to start out on FS1 for 3.5 hours, I think is what it is. Then we'll be on Bassmaster.com. We will go...
Big day, Championship Sunday.
Championship Sunday. We'll start out on Bassmaster.com, and after 3 hours, we will switch to FS1 for 1 hour, and then 3 hours on Fox Network. Big Fox, where you see NFL and The Simpsons.
Fans always are disappointed at times. We leave Fox Sports 1 at the last couple hours of the day, and then people watching online.
Be there till the bitter end, pretty much, until everybody's headed back. You know?
We're going to see them running back.
Cool. That'll be a first.
Tommy, thank you for what you do for Bassmaster Live, and we're going to hop on.
You got more red carpet coming, right?
Oh yeah, I'm just stalling. I learned how to stall from you. I said everybody wants to talk to Tommy, but I'm going to.
That's all you get from me. You know, so that's right.
Well, okay. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Ronnie.
You're the host with the most, and you're gonna dish it out tonight.
That's right. Oh yeah, you bet.
Tommy Sanders, everyone, legend. Tommy Sanders. I don't know if this next guy. I don't know if this next guy is happy with how much I've praised our host city this week, because you are current record holder for host of the Bassmaster Classic. You guys retook it. Is Knoxville going to break it this week? And if so, I know you're going to be having big plans for the next time Hartwell hosts.
Oh, absolutely, Ronnie. And you know, records are meant to be broken. And the last 2 times we've had the opportunity to host this event at our place, we've set the mark. And these guys do a great job. They become great friends. And really, it's not about setting the record. It's about giving your best to Bass. And they're the real winners in this deal, because you've got an event that continues to draw record numbers, record crowds, great fishing. And it's an event that fans all over the world, it's an event that's on everybody's calendars, everybody's schedules, and so
the whole industry.
Absolutely, and I'm just excited to be here. And listen, if the phone rings this week, I'm not going to get blamed for anything, so I can let my hair down and have a good time with you guys this week.
I forgot to introduce you. Neil Paul from Anderson, South Carolina. We appreciate all you do there. Yeah, I was kind of saying this is kind of getting personal. Tennessee beats Clemson in a bowl game, and now Knoxville's coming for your record. You guys going to end up being rivals at some point?
Well, and the host here, Chad Culver, they do a great job. This is probably the biggest year of his life, you know, and really I told somebody yesterday coming up in the car, the tough part of this is the University of South Carolina, because they beat Tennessee, they beat Clemson. So really the axe to grind is with the Gamecocks this week, not with Tennessee or Clemson. So, but it's a good time. It's a lot of orange. It's a color I'm used to at home. And so this will be a great week, I know.
A lot of effort from the towns and the hosts go into making the Classic happen, and we appreciate that. Without the facilities, without the efforts, we can't do it. But after the fact, when you count the money, count the numbers, count the tourists, what does a Classic bring to a town? And do it, you know, if there's other chambers of commerce watching online on Bassmaster's Facebook right now, what does it mean to host a Classic, and what does it do for the town?
Well, I'll tell you this, and just to put it in perspective, because a lot of people, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful manner, but there's a lot of people that really don't understand the whole fishing industry and this world, this bubble that we're in. But everybody understands March Madness, and everybody's filled out a bracket, right? Well,
mine's busted.
I didn't even bother. It's like my fantasy fishing. It's gone. It's bad this year. But I'll give you an example. The upstate of South Carolina, Greenville, hosted the NCAA tournament first and second round games. Had Duke, Michigan State, and Auburn, and folks last year, 2 weeks after we hosted the Classic, and the Classic carried a larger economic impact than the NCAA tournament did. So if everybody is familiar with the brackets and March Madness, but having the Classic in your community is a bigger impact than even the NCAA tournament, just to put it in perspective.
That's crazy. This is our March Madness. This is the Mac Daddy of them all, the Bassmaster Classic. Neil, appreciate all you do for the sport.
Thank you.
We know you love bass. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ron.
Yes, sir. We got some other anglers coming in. I'm going to go ahead and just bring you over. One of the hottest, and you come on, don't be shy. Don't be shy. One of the hottest anglers in the sport. I can say that because you are a Bassmaster Rookie of the Year, a Bassmaster Elite Series champion, the youngest to win one, and now you're fishing in the Classic. Jay Shakira, what's it like to be here, man? This has got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty special. I don't know. I mean, the nerves are going to be high on day one for the first hour or two, but then I'll relax and calm down and then just get to doing what I do. Hopefully I catch them. Practice was not good for me personally. Maybe for other guys it wasn't as well, but honestly I'm hoping to just catch a limit in this tournament both days, make the third day. Maybe hopefully don't have to work the expo. The third day, nothing against anybody, but yeah, I just want to catch a limit in this tournament, and that's about it.
With the way this fishery sets up and fishes, if you're in the top 25 on the final day, you have a shot to win, because this thing could turn on its head anytime now. How do you go about practicing and having baits on your deck that work in 50-degree water and 40-degree outside temperatures and rain for sunny and 80 the next 3 days, 4 days? How do you find that balance of what's worked plus what could work going forward?
Yeah, so I kind of have a two-prong approach right now. It's between a chatterbait and a crankbait. Basically, those two baits I'm going to switch in between, you know, based on the conditions. Like in practice, we had terrible conditions. The water really never got above, 55 all week in practice. So the crankbait, you kind of had to rely on a little bit just to get those reaction bites. But as this water warms, those fish are going to start getting up in the water column before they spawn. Something like a chatterbait or something like that is, I feel like, going to prevail in this tournament. Maybe a spinnerbait, maybe a jig a little bit. Personally, for everyone that's watching or following, I haven't really found the smallmouth like I wanted to this week. Unfortunately, I've looked hard. I've looked real hard.
The fantasy team percentage, I can feel it right now.
I know. I looked really hard for the smallmouth, but if I do catch a limit of largemouth, I will maybe dabble around for some smallmouth a little bit to get a couple of kickers. But that's if I get a limit of largemouth, so we'll see.
Got a question. I ask every spouse, every significant other something. Who's more competitive? Because, yes, he's a fisherman, he's an athlete, but some would consider actually an athlete.
So, wait, hold on. She plays college hockey. So she's more of an athlete than I am, and she can speak for that.
Does she throw you around when you're not doing chores? I mean, like up against the glass?
You have to ask her.
It's definitely me. I'm way more competitive than Jay, and I'll own it, but I'm the leader of the couple.
That's incredible. I'm going to hear her cheering or yelling at you from the crowd today, or this week. I can feel it.
Yeah. We have our relationship. We have two very competitive people going at each other constantly, but it works out well because she keeps me in line most of the time.
Last thing, you won Rookie of the Year. What was that like? It's got to be a goal. You can only win it once, but to win an Elite Series event as well, man, your name got hot there at the end of the year, and people were just infatuated with Jay Shakira.
Yeah, it was, honestly, it was something special to come where I came from, you know, winning 2 co-angler tournaments, jumping into the Opens and qualifying. Truly, it was a dream come true. It was something that I've wanted to do my entire life. Honestly, to get here at this point, I didn't think I'd honestly be here for probably a solid 5 to 10 years. I really didn't think I would maybe even ever make a Classic to that point. So to actually be here and to have Micah here and have my whole family here, it's really special.
You didn't just actually make it. You got top 10 in Angler of the Year last year and Rookie of the Year. Congratulations. Thanks for showing up here for the interview, and congrats on being here.
Thank you.
Enjoy it. Hey, keep him straight all week. Keep him straight. Jay Shakira, our Rookie of the Year, fantastic season. Hoping to duplicate some of that success in year 2 on the Elites. I said that Leanne Swindle was the first lady of Bass, but our Angler of the Year lady's got to be the first lady for at least a short time. Brandon, Tiffany, and Cora Palaniuk, how are you guys doing tonight? Hey!
We're doing good. We kind of missed our afternoon nap.
You or her?
Well, both of us. She's teething a little bit, so we're going to see how tonight goes. This will definitely be a different experience than the first one because we have Cora, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
2022 was a great year for Brandon. Most years are great just because you're winning everything or you're winning Angler of the Year. You had your first child, and you didn't miss a single day of Elite Series competition. You won Angler of the Year. You had a century belt. You caught your first 30-pound bag. I mean, other than your height, I want to be everything you are.
You know, you're not alone on that. It was an amazing year. I mean, you can't top having an amazing kid, having an amazing year, amazing wife. You know, and this night is celebrating all of that. And what we do is awesome, but we can't do it like without everyone else, right? It doesn't mean anything if there's not the rest of the guys on tour, the rest of the crew. Like, all of those moments are special because of the people that we're surrounded with, you know, and I'm thankful for that, you know, and looking forward to more great years to come. It's hard to believe that this is my 13th season.
You're old now.
But I'm not old. I've just been around a long time, but I'm not one of the old guys. I'm not old, but I'm one of the old guys, if that makes sense. And so I'm like in this weird position.
Midlife crisis, it sounds like.
I mean, yeah, a mid-bass crisis.
That's not too bad if you're winning Angler of the Year in your mid-bass crisis. Tiffany, you hold it all down. I mean, he might starve. Kyle most definitely would starve with snacks if you didn't keep him in line. To see all of that hard work behind the scenes, the fishing and practice in the rain, the cold, traveling from Idaho, all the prep, to see it pay off with good Classic success, Angler of the Year's Elite titles, that's got to be fulfilling as a wife and a mom to see that happen.
Oh, absolutely. That's why last year with her, I was like, there's no way you're missing a day of competition, especially when you're in the running of AOI. I didn't hold back information. I really didn't know that I was going to have the baby and he was going to miss it. I wanted him there, but, you know, it didn't work out. And in all reality, it worked out how it was supposed to, and it was the perfect year. I couldn't imagine it any other way.
That's fantastic. Brandon, you took a little bit of time away from Bass years ago, but you came back because you really appreciated the fans and you appreciated that atmosphere. We don't see a place where more fans. Okeechobee and Seminole tried to get as many fans as the Classic. They showed out big time. We're going to have a ton of people here this week. It could break the record again. Is that something you'll always remember, is when those curtains pull apart and you pull into the arena and you have the roar of the crowd? The fans make it meaningful, just like to everybody else here.
Yeah, I mean, the Classic is more than just the weigh-in. I mean, that's what, you know, everyone talks about the weigh-in, but blast off in the morning, right downtown Knoxville on those steps, and there's going to be thousands of people. I remember when we were here in 2019, it's one of the craziest, like, coolest venues because you've got everybody kind of up above you. And, I mean, they are literally packed in. Every nook and cranny that anybody can get in, they're trying to see. Like, that's what makes bass fishing a sport. If we don't have all those fans, if you don't have that in those moments, we're just a bunch of guys fishing for our own money, right? And so those fans, all of that atmosphere, this event is what makes this sport possible.
Incredible. I think we had like 6,000 fans at a day one takeoff. That's absolutely incredible. Knoxville's going to be great, and it's also great because the Palaniuks are in town. Appreciate you guys joining us. Thank you for being here. Congratulations. We're going to honor him. We're going to get to hear another speech from Brandon Palaniuk. He's going to have to start writing new ones because he wins Angler of the Year so much. But if you joined us all of this Facebook Live for the United Champions, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Oh, wait. Let's not sign off. Let's not sign off. We got to bring it in here.
Yeah,
this is the way to end it. This is the way to end it. Seth Fighter, Pete, how are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Is this your date tonight?
That is my date tonight, yeah. Polish Pete.
She looks a little different than she did last year.
I do look a little different, a little less hair. Yeah.
It's the hormones.
I understand. You look good after just having a baby. You look great.
Thank you very much.
I kid. Seth, you've won Angler of the Year. You've won Bassmaster events. What would it mean to win a classic this week?
Oh, it's everything. It's one of them things you need to do before you quit fishing. You know, it's a dream everyone's got when they start fishing. It's the biggest thing you can do in fishing, and hopefully we get it done this week.
We've seen a big push, not only Canadians, but other northern states represented. The Minnesota and Wisconsin contingent that's growing on the Elite Series is one of the best that we've ever seen, and it's only getting better. Why is that region so good at bass fishing where you guys can catch them from Guntersville to Fort Loudon to Texas to New York?
I don't know. Obviously, we get a lot of smallmouth practice, and then our lakes don't really fish like anything down south. But usually good grass fishermen, good river fishermen, and good smallmouth fishermen come out there. But there's a lot of good fishermen in that zone, and it's nice to see them, on the Elite Series now. It's been for a long time, there was none of us there doing it, so I'm proud that we're representing. I think there's like 7 of us here in the Classic, and out of a pretty small little zone that's not known for bass fishing.
It's getting a little scary as well because there's quite a few of those states that I mentioned, Minnesota and Wisconsin, that have won at Grand Lake, site of next year's Classic, and you've had top 10s there, plenty as well. Wanted to segue. Pete, you're the date tonight, but you're also a part of the industry.
Yes.
What's the Bassmaster Classic mean to every company that tries to be here or that may profit months down the road from just something that happens this week?
It is our Super Bowl. We joke around about it and say it's our Super Bowl, but it really is. This is the epitome of what we all work for all year long. We want to see what the anglers make of all these baits and all this hoopla we make around all this marketing we do within the industry, and it's exciting for us as I'm in, obviously in e-commerce. We want to see what the latest trends are, what the coolest things are, and when you see the Bassmaster Classic, whatever pops off there is the hottest thing for the next 3 trailing months at a minimum, if not for the next 2 years. I mean, look at the last bunch of classics we've had. So hopefully one of our guys brings it down, whether it's Bob Downey, Patrick Walters, or Seth Fighter. Obviously, I'm rooting for my date tonight, Seth Fighter. We're going to see what happens. And I'm glad you guys had me. I'm excited for this Bassmaster Classic. It is the Super Bowl of fishing.
Well, we're going to sign off here for the Night of Champions. But before we do, I need a mustache, a hair flip, and a llama before we go.
All right.